Welcome to episode 9 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Laws Guy. Today is November 9, 1997. We're in Dundee, Scotland, at Tannadice Park. Aberdeen centre forward Dean Windass is about to do something that sounds like you'd hear it in the pub, until you check the match report. He gets sent off 3 times in the same match. We'll walk beside him, whistle to tunnel, then zoom out. Why a referee can dismiss the same player repeatedly, where that power comes from in the laws, and when red cards even became a thing. But first, let's set the scene. Dean Windass was a character on and off the pitch, a goal scorer with a street footballer's swagger, quick wit, and a temper that sometimes ran ahead of his feet. Years later, he'd scored Wembley to send Hull City to the Premier League. Pure fairy tale stuff. But on this day, in 1997, we get the other Windass, the one who could ignite in a heartbeat. This is Tannadice Park, and Windass Aberdeen is hosted by Dundee United. Kick-off, and in the first minute, Windass is cautioned by the referee, Stuart Dougal. Yellow card. After just over 20 minutes of play, Dundee is ahead by 3 goals to none, and the mounting tensions boil over right after the third goal. Windass tangles off the ball with defender Rab Douglas and nearby markers. Stuart Dougal reaches for red, first dismissal for violent conduct. But it doesn't stop there. Windass is furious. He argues and follows the language the laws call offensive, insulting, or abusive. It actually has an acronym, off in a bus. That's a separate red card offense, dissent's bigger, meaner cousin. And Dougal flashes a second red to signal to the ground that we passed a new line. Windass, still incandescent, lashes the corner flag and throws it on the ground. Another dismissible conduct, and that's when Dougal, the referee, adds a third sending off to the match record, and yes, shows a third red for clarity. 3 reds, 1 player, 1 afternoon. But why show multiple reds to the same player? Well, because each distinct act of dismissible misconduct is its own offense. The card is a communication tool. You can't double send a player on the field, but you can and must report each separate sending off offense, even after players stopped or the players leaving. That's why a referee sometimes produces a second, or in this case third, red card to mark additional dismissals for the report and the disciplinary body. Modern guidance reflects this communication function. This discipline accrues for each offense. Cards aren't just optics, they tilt matches. Playing 10 versus 11 changes pressing height, build-up risk, and expected goals dramatically. That's why managers obsess over game state. A red before halftime often forces the 4-4-1 and live blueprint. A red in stoppage time is mostly a suspension problem for next week. Historically, English and Scottish sendings off were rarer in the pre-card era because the bar to dismiss without the visual tool was higher, and game management culture different. With cards after 1970, and especially at serious foul play and endangering an opponent's safety, have been strictly enforced. Reds rose stabilized league to league as norms settled. Multiple cards for the same player in the same match is quite rare though. Incredibly, it happened again at Tannadice Park in August 2024, when Dundee United defeated St Johnstone by 2-0. Towards the end of the match, Saints Adama Sidibe picked up his second yellow and was sent off. Immediately after that, he tussled with a Dundee player and received a second red on the spot. But wait, how can you be sent off more than once, you may ask? And here's what the laws allow. The power to order a player off is older than the idea of a red card, by almost a century. In February 1881, expulsion entered the laws of the game. The Football Association's code from 1881 gives match officials the explicit power to send off players, quote, order him off the ground, unquote, for violent or ungentlemanly conduct. That phrase appears plainly in Law 15 of the 1881 text. Fast forward 85 years. At the 1966 World Cup, especially England-Argentina in the quarterfinals, cautions and a notorious dismissal were poorly communicated across languages. England manager Alf Ramsey sought clarity over which of his men had been booked, and Argentine captain Anthony Ratin was sent off amid chaos. Refereeing chief Ken Aston, stuck in London traffic afterwards, saw the light, literally. Inspired by traffic lights, he proposed to show a yellow card for caution and a red for send-off. symbols anyone could understand at a glance. The colored card system had its debut at the 1970 World Cup in Mexico and quickly spread. Domestic competitions adopted at different paces. The English Football League brought cards into regular use at the start of the 1967 season, 66-67 season. Today's law number 12 about fouls and misconduct and law number 5 about the referee make it explicit. The referee's authority includes cautioning or sending off for misconduct that occurs while the ball is in or out of play, and that authority continues as players leave the field area. Any new separate misconduct, which could be like abuse or gestures, altercations, or equipment damage, is an additional sending off offense, and referees show an extra red to document the new law breaches, which carries separate charges and added suspension in the disciplinary report. Exactly Windass's fate. If you strip the theater away, Windass standardized afternoon is just the laws doing what they were built to do. 1881 gave the referee the power to order off. 1970 gave the world a language for it, yellow and red. And 1997 showed that one dismissal doesn't grant a free hit. Every subsequent offense is another breach, another red, another week on the sideline. Windass learned all three in about 20 minutes. That's all for the 9th episode of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history, about Dean Windass and the night Tannadice turned scarlet. If you got corrections, memories from the shed or the George Fox stand, please email otd@17lawsguy.com, rate us 5 stars, and share with anyone who rants about referees. Tomorrow, November 10, when the Zulus defeated Sheffield in 1879, a charity side and a 9-goal friendly that became a sensation. See you then.